Picture this. You're scrolling through social media at 11 p.m., seeing another entrepreneur celebrating a six-figure launch. Your stomach tightens. That voice whispers, there's not enough success to go around. If they're winning, you're falling behind. What if I told you that that voice is not wisdom, that it's actually a lie that's keeping you stuck, small, and spiritually frustrated? Here's a plot twist. You've been calling this lie being realistic, staying grounded. But what if your caution is not protecting you, but it's paralyzing your calling? I'm about to expose the one mindset that's keeping more hermanas from stepping into their God-given potential than anything else. And by the end of today's episode, you'll know exactly how to silence that voice forever. But first, I have a quick question for you. What is your first thought when you hear God wants to bless your business? I am super curious about what your God says because what I'm about to share with you will challenge everything you've been taught about faith and provision. That tension you feel, you're not alone. You know, that restless moment lying awake at 3 a.m. convinced God has called you for something bigger. But every practical step forward feels blocked by the same thing, the fear that there is simply not enough. Hi, I am Salime, and this is Freedom to Follow, the podcast for believers who carry both faith and ambition in their hearts. Maybe you grew up hearing your parents say, don't get your hopes up. Or maybe your family has their own words for staying safe, staying small, staying realistic. Here, we explore how ordinary believers build digital, online businesses that don't just cover bills, but create the freedom to say yes to God's calling in your life without the anxiety of money. For the last 20 years, I've built businesses and online platforms across 3 different continents while living as an immigrant myself. I know what it's like to start from scratch, to feel like an outsider looking in, and still believe that God can use your skills for His kingdom right where you are. Everything we covered today is downloadable at www.salime, global, including the ultimate guide to your digital business and today's episode show notes. And if you stay with me through the end of this episode, there is a surprise resource waiting for you that will shift from how you think about abundance and opportunity from a biblical perspective. But it's a surprise, and I will reveal it at the end of this podcast, so stay with me. Let me paint you a picture that might feel uncomfortably familiar. You know that moment when you're watching your colleagues take risks that make your immigrant parents' hearts skip a beat? When you hear about following your passion while your family worked 3 jobs just to give you stability? Or when someone talks about betting on yourself and all you can think about is how your parents sacrificed everything for your security? See, you've internalized messages that were born from survival and have served their purpose. Don't rock the boat where you work too hard to be here. A steady job is better than a risky dream. Success like that isn't for people like us. Be grateful for what you have and stop wanting more. Sounds familiar? Here's what nobody tells you about this mindset. It was necessary for a season, but it might be limiting you in this season. See, your parents' caution kept your family alive, but that same protective instinct might be keeping you from what God has prepared for you right now in the land of opportunity, and that they sacrificed everything to give you access to. Now, before we go further, let me share something that changed everything for me, because I think this will help you understand what I mean. I was having coffee with my mentor, struggling with whether or not to post the price of my services online, to be fully transparent, or to continue to have to negotiate my price and settle for what my client wanted to pay. I kept thinking about my great-grandfather, a Lebanese immigrant who landed in Mexico back in the day and who became a merchant, a trinket seller literally, and who never asked for more that he absolutely needed. Who am I to charge premium prices, I asked. Well, my mentor looked at me and said something that rocked my world. Salime, your great-grandparents' humility was beautiful, but you're not dishonoring them by charging what you're worth. You're honoring his sacrifice, but not letting you stay small. Staying small is not how you honor his sacrifice. You refusing to undervalue the work God has entrusted you. And then she opened her Bible to 1 Timothy 5:18. Scripture says, "Do not muzzle an ox while it is treading out in the grain." And it also says, "The worker deserves his wages." See, Paul was teaching the church to provide for its leaders. But notice that he's rooting this in a bigger biblical principle. From Deuteronomy to Jesus' own words, God is clear. Those who labor, those who work deserve to be supported, deserve a fair pay. So fair pay, charging fairly, is not greed, it is justice and it is dignity. Well, for me, that changed everything. I realized that God never asked me to prove my humility by undercharging. I saw that He was asking me to steward my gifts faithfully, which included valuing them rightly with the marketplace. And here's the most beautiful thing that happened. When I began charging fair wages, I didn't just create stability for myself, I created margin for generosity. I could tithe with joy, I could support my pastor and my church without fear, and I could give to the mission of God in ways that were not possible when I was shrinking back in false humility. Fair wages gave me space not only to stand tall in my calling, but to strengthen the very mission I thought I was protecting by staying small. Now, let me tell you exactly the scripts that many of you probably have in mind. People like us don't start businesses, we work for them. If I take a risk and fail, I'm dishonoring my parents' sacrifice. Success like that is for people who had generational wealth. There's only so much opportunity to go around. I should be grateful for stability and stop wanting. Here's the problem. Every single one of those thoughts comes from a fear mindset, fear-based mindset, which is not biblical. Now, I've traveled dozens of countries and I've seen this scarcity, fear trap everywhere. It's the same pattern in every struggling economy and in every immigrant family. People hoard instead of share. There's jealousy instead of celebration when others succeed. There's fear of trying anything new because what if it doesn't work? It's always a zero-sum game. It's zero-sum thinking where somebody else's success means less for everybody else. It is a fear-based mindset that produces a fear-based culture. And yet, look in the Bible, Matthew 25:14-30, the parable of the talents says that there's this master that gives 3 servants different amounts of money. 2 servants invest and multiply what they're given, and 1 servant buries his talent in the ground out of fear. When the master returns, he calls the investors good and faithful servants and gives them more responsibility. And to the one who buried his talent out of fear, he calls him wicked and lazy. Not careful, not protective, not realistic, wicked and lazy. Jesus called the servant who buried his talent out of fear wicked and lazy. And this should blow your mind, because when we study this in the context of women in the Bible, Proverbs 31 woman was not just a good wife, she was a good businesswoman, and God called that wisdom. Proverbs 31:16, she considered the field and buys it. Out of her earnings she plants a vineyard. Verse 18, she sees that her trading is profitable and her lamp does not go out at night. The Proverbs 31 woman was an entrepreneur. She evaluated investments, she ran profitable businesses, she worked mightily unto the Lord, she supplied merchants. It was not just a side hustle, it was her calling. And the beautiful part about this is that her husband is praised because of her success. Her children rise up and call her blessed. Her business success brings honor to her family and glory to God. She's not acting out of fear. The Bible does not present entrepreneurship and online digital businesses as greedy. It presents it as wise stewardship, particularly when we're living in an economy that's becoming globally digital. This completely transformed how I thought about my immigrant experience. See, our parents didn't sacrifice everything just so we could play it safe forever. They sacrificed so that we could have opportunities they never had. That's what my great-grandfather did. That's what my grandfather did. That's what my mom and dad did. They gave each generation a step up. So, what if honoring your parents' sacrifice does not mean staying small, but stepping fully into the opportunities they have sacrificed so much to give you? And again, digital entrepreneurship is one of the opportunities that are for our generation. So how do we practically shift from survival thinking that's so ingrained in our brains to opportunity taking? Well, here's the framework that has transformed my mindset. Number one, instead of asking, what would my parents think? Ask, how can I honor their sacrifice by not wasting opportunities that I have right now? Again, your parents didn't work 3 jobs so their children could think small. They worked 3 jobs so their children could dream big. Step 2, stewardship shift. Stop thinking, I should be grateful for what I have. Start thinking, how can I multiply what I have been given to serve others? Contentment is not about settling for less. Contentment is about stewarding well what God has entrusted you. Now, start thinking it in legacy lens. What if, instead of thinking, what if I fail and embarrass my family? Think, what if I succeed and create opportunities for the next generation? Like one of my students started charging appropriate prices for her consulting services in the education industry specifically, so she could bring her parents to America legally from a drug-ravaged country. Her high prices, her fair prices became her family's freedom. That can happen. Now start thinking from a kingdom perspective. Ask yourself weekly, where am I operating from fear instead of faith? Common immigrant fear symptoms. Yeah, and they're probably going to sound politically incorrect, but whatever. We think that we think stuff like this, undercharging because you don't feel American enough. Not applying for opportunities because they probably want someone else. Saying yes to everything because you're afraid that those opportunities won't come again, or better opportunities won't come again. Comparing your beginning with someone else's generational head start. The truth is that those fears and guardrails help the past generation, makes you bury your talents. Kingdom thinking makes you multiply them for God's glory. You probably have fears that are in your heart right now, like, but what if I fail and prove that people like us can make it? First, like, you probably won't fail completely, but second, what if you succeed and prove that God's favor isn't limited by your zip code or your last name? Well, you ask yourself, what if success changes me and I forget where I came from? Again, that's why you build accountability and generosity into your business model from day one. Success with character is possible in God's hands. Well, you say like this narrative that they have ingrained in us. What if I'm taking opportunities away from real Americans? America is a society that was built on immigration. And this is fearful thinking in disguise. When you succeed, you create jobs, you pay taxes, you build businesses that serve everyone. Your success multiplies opportunities, not takes away from others. What if you're thinking, well, I don't have the connections that they have? You're right. You have something different. You have a different story. God has given you a different story. You have resilience and work ethic and family backbone and a perspective that people desperately need. So don't underestimate the value of your unique experience. Your story isn't your limitation. It's your superpower in the global digital economy. Okay, we've talked a lot about different things today, but here's what I want you to do practically. First, the scarcity audit. Go to www.salime.global and download all the exercises for this episode, and that's where you'll find here the scarcity audit. I want you to write down the first thought that comes to your mind for each of these scenarios, and I want you to be brutally honest. Number 1, somebody offers you to pay double of your current rate. What do you feel? What's your first thought? Number 2, a big opportunity comes, but it has financial risk. Number 3, you see another immigrant succeed in your field. What does it make you feel? What do you think? Number 4, somebody asks you to lead a project at work. Again, what's the gut reaction? Number 5, you have an idea that could help thousands of people. I want you to write down your gut reaction, not what you think you should feel. And I want you to ask yourself which one of these reactions are coming from wisdom, biblical wisdom, and which are coming from inherited fear. And then there's something that needs to change. We're going to take one stewardship-based decision this week. Find one area where you've been operating from fear, out of fear, and make one trust-based decision this week. And it could be apply for a position that you're not quite qualified for, or set your prices to reflect the value that you create, or pitch your services to someone who you've been intimidated to approach, or start that side business you've been researching for months in the 2 hours that you have off work for rest. This is your assignment, and I wanted you to do it not tomorrow, not next week, today. Go to www.salime, S-A-L-I-M-E, that's my name, salime.global, and download please the exercise sheets and share one stewardship-based decision in my DMs on Instagram at salime.global with the hashtag trust challenge. I read every single one of them and I will be cheering you on, and that will give me guidelines to understand what is it that you exactly need. Because here's what I believe God wants you to understand. He did not bring your family this far so you could think that you're still in survival mode. He brought you here so you could step into the fullness of what He's prepared for you in the land of opportunity. Your parents' sacrifice wasn't so you could play it safe forever. It was so you could take the kinds of risks that they never could. Think that the enemy wants you believing that there's not enough opportunity, not enough belonging, not enough room at the table for people like you, like us. But our God is a God of more than enough, and He didn't orchestrate your family's journey just so you could think small where you are. So your assignment this week is find an area where you've been operating out of fear and take one stewardship-based decision, and DM me at salime.global on Instagram with the hashtag trust challenge. Again, this is important. This helps me create more content that actually helps you. And if this message stirred something in your heart, share it with another hermana who would benefit from hearing this message. And remember to download the ultimate guide to your digital business, which is specifically designed to help you build something sustainable, which will honor both your calling and your legacy. And I also have for you the other guide, a surprise that is available for a limited time only because you stayed with me till the end. You can get it at www.salime.global 5 truths. I want you to download it today because it will not be available forever. Again, your calling isn't waiting for perfect conditions. It's waiting for faithful action, and that action can start today. I'm Salime, and I'll see you next week on Freedom to Follow. Goodbye.